Good afternoon from Bali, everyone. It's Anika Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy breathing and mindful actions. Today, I wanted to follow up on some of my discussion of Ojas and where we decide to use this kidney essence energy and how we direct our lives, which is the continuation of most of my videos. But today, I thought I would talk about the mind and intelligence, and I thought I'd call this video Emotionally Disciplined Intelligence. So, if you're watching, you might be interested in knowing this first quote by the Buddha. And it says, "A disciplined mind brings happiness. A disciplined mind brings happiness." And I definitely believe this. And if we were to look at this from the perspective of Ojas, or we can look at it from the perspective of strength, so Shakti power, and we can look at the idea of the Vedas, and not even the idea of the knowledge from the Vedas, which talks to us about how senses dissipate our energy, that what we look at, what we choose to listen to, what we engage in. So where are we using our kidney essence or our ojas? And oftentimes we'll find that emotions take up a lot of energy, and most people do not realize it. So even overjoy can take up a lot of energy, and a lot of sadness or grief or anger or frustration takes up a lot of energy. And now we put this together with our lives and our day-to-day experience, and we can see that oftentimes it's because the mind is not disciplined. Now, the mind in the Vedas is the one that governs these emotions. So it allows the energy for these emotions, and then how much energy we put into our emotions actually makes a difference as to how much backup energy do we have. And when the mind is not disciplined, it goes into these emotions. And it's interesting, when I speak with men often, I will hear people saying, well, I don't really spend a lot of time in emotions. I don't get caught up in things like that. Women do that. And as I'm also trying to make sure that we all understand, men and women can do this, men often, from what I can see, go into a thought space, and even that, often a denial of, I don't really think about those things. Women think about those things, and they'll both do. Now, how we dissipate our energy in terms of thoughts or emotions comes from the same space of the mind. And the mind in Vedic tradition, or Vedic teaching, or basic understanding of logic, uses energy to focus on the things that it thinks about and the emotions that it feels. So both of these areas, if you want to see a little bit more detail about this, do take a look at my eyesight video series, and it's right here on YouTube. And again, same idea, but what I'd like to focus on is that, again, the mind takes up energy and dissipates it in using it, whether through emotions or whether through thought, and both are taking energy. So many people can think about, what is it that I think about? And I think about what happened yesterday. I think about the memories that have happened in my life. I miss this. So we can see that emotions would be tied in with that. Emotion of happiness, an emotion of sadness, and it's really in the moment of those things, which is a memory today. And when we think about that, we're aware that, wow, yeah, our minds do actually use up a lot of energy in that. Now, getting one space beyond the mind is moving into the area of intelligence. And I thought I'd share this quotation by Morgan Freeman, which I thought was actually very well put for explaining this. He talks about self-control is strength, calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence. Now, this hits that same theme that I'm talking about. Your emotions are in the space of the mind, according to Vedas. And according to this quotation too, he's touching on the exact same idea. The intelligence are a step away from the mind, even though we might think that both of those are kind of fueled by the brain. So when we're thinking about this, and we're thinking about also ojas is stored in the brain, when we understand this, we understand that intelligence is one step beyond. Now, we've heard a lot about emotional intelligence. I suspect you might have. I've certainly made a course on emotional intelligence and for the healthcare practitioners specifically, and I feel that we are all healthcare practitioners. At first to ourselves, and then perhaps to people around us. It could be our children, it could be our friends, it could be our family members in terms of parents, aging parents or grandparents can be in that category, that we're helping their health and we can utilize emotional intelligence. Now, you might know that many employers are looking at this term now, how emotionally intelligent are people. So even there's tests, so there used to be about testing IQ, now it's about EQ, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, and we can measure that how much emotional intelligence is in this person. And this is useful in a certain regard when we're using measurement tools, especially for hiring. And yet, are we using these skills for ourselves? So I see a lot of people becoming educated book-wise in emotional intelligence, and then they can write it on the resume that I've got this training. Yet unless we're applying it, and this is what I'm seeing, that even so, though so many people are studying emotional intelligence, reading books, seeing videos, speaking about it, sharing the conversation of emotional intelligence, we understand the concepts, and that's the brain, the mind, the intelligence even. And yet, is there a discipline to that intelligence? Because that's also within our control. So we can see that when we are dependent on something outside of us to give us comfort emotionally, or even for our thoughts, that, oh, please speak to me nicely, think well of me, think that I'm a good person, think that I'm smart, think that I'm capable for this job if you're applying for a job. We are emotionally dependent on someone to give us that feedback. And the emotional discipline of intelligence, emotionally disciplined intelligence, is I control how much feedback I give this mind, this body, this mind, this intelligence, this energy that works through this mind too, which is a universal energy, and in Vedas they might call it Atman. We might even link it to Brahman, which we could say is God force. We could say that is a universal energy, or the universe is energy that flows through us, and all of that controls, and we have control over that energy. And so this discipline of what do I put my thought into, what do I allow my emotions to feed into, what do I need from others, is nothing, because I need it from myself. When I am filled, I can give to others. I can give as an employee. I can give not just a great examination mark. I can give the actual service that I am saying on my resume I'm capable of doing. Yet when I get into the job, let's say I get hired for the job that I really want, and I'm really good on paper, but in person, you know, why won't the boss like me? And why does this colleague not like me? And why do they keep wanting this or that out of me? I am not an emotionally disciplined intelligence. And so this training is something that I feel that all schools could really benefit from. I also feel that all medical programs could benefit from, because even practitioners look for this feedback from their clients, from their patients, from their associations, that, yeah, you're a good practitioner because you're paying your bills, you're paying your association fees every year. That makes you really good. You haven't had a lawsuit against you. You're really good. Is that really what makes us good practitioners, good people, good employees? It is not, and you can see that. That just makes logical sense. Yet we have moved into that. I need you to tell me that I'm good. I need you to renew my license for the year so I feel good. But what kind of practitioner am I? What kind of employee am I? And I will know this, and then people will feel the energy around me too. And this is something that requires discipline. It requires this, how can I be the best that I can be? Rather than, well, I'm better than Joe Schmo that's working beside me, and I do so much more work. I work more hours. I stay up later at night. I respond to emails quicker. Those are not measures. Do I respond with heart? That is the key. That's the quality of an emotionally intelligent, disciplined mind. So in this, today I wanted to make sure that we finish on this quotation, and I'd love for you to reflect on these ideas, because you will know who you are. Are you trying to get a job or keep a job by doing all the right things that look good on paper, or are you the right person because you do things from your heart, truthfully, meaningfully, intelligently. It was interesting. One of the things that I came across today too before making this video was this idea of how, in the past, generations ago, there were much bigger families, and in that much bigger family situation, people were trained unconsciously to be adaptable. So, yeah, I'm the third child, so yeah, and the first child gets this, and at least I'm not like the last child. No, but the last child is actually getting the most favoritism because they were the youngest, so they're the baby. Whichever way, we started also making those differences. But we also became adaptable, that okay, well, it's their turn for this, it's their turn for the bathroom. We were a little bit more flexible. Then we moved from that into joint families even. So families would marry with another family that was familiar, and then families would move in together. So oftentimes there would be parents and children all together. And these joint families also created some opportunity for adaptability. Then we moved from joint families to nuclear families. So okay, maybe the two parents and maybe two kids, it's a nuclear family. And then we moved into the singles, and we moved into the space of just the single person with the dog, and the single person, the laptop, the phone, the dog. I'm a happy person. And yet I cannot be flexible because unless I'm interacting with others regularly to force my system, my mind, my intellect, my intelligence to be adaptable to different things, I also bring that into the workplace. I also bring that onto the street in terms of how I drive, in terms of how I walk down the street, in terms of how to interact with anyone. Because if I'm not adaptable, I'm very used to being on my own. I will not be adaptable in an office environment, in a community, in the world. And this is the energy that we can consciously be aware of so that we can share this loving energy. This is not to say that single people don't have communities around them. In fact, they don't actually they might even be CEOs of companies. And yet it doesn't mean that they are working from compassionate, heart-centered spaces that help themselves and the world around us. I thought I'd end, as I said, on this quotation. It's by Stephen Covey, and it says, "The undisciplined are slaves to moods, appetites, and passions." The undisciplined are slaves to moods, appetites, and passions. And this is the thing that we get into these passionate modes. What am I going to get my Ojas used in? Again, we see that sexuality, the very base of our system, is based on this sexual energy, kidney essence, right from the tailbone. And yet that is the basic instinct of every animal. And so that energy gets used. So I want to have sex. I'll have sex with anyone. I don't care how it makes them feel or how it makes me feel. It was satisfying for the moment is how many people have moved into their life experiences. That also means that when I'm angry with something, well, it was satisfying. I needed to get that off my chest. It's not a compassionate, it's not a disciplined mind, it's not an intelligence that is in action, working from the heart. And so today, I would encourage you to think about, are you working from your heart? Are you working from the base energies of our root, which are very strong, very passionate anger, passionate sex, passionate enthusiasm about any work that you're doing too? And then how do you interact with others? Are you compassionate? Are you sensitive? Are you heart-centered? Are you compassionate and loving to yourself as well as to the world around us? Because that is spreading a fabulous energy. I encourage us all to do that. I wish you a fabulous day ahead or night. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.